Yeah. No. No. That's too big for you.
Haydi.
Yeah.
Bravo, bravo. Haydi, haydi. Bravo. Bravo, Luca. Bravo.
Okay, so we went to the store, bought a few things. The camera that I'm filming with now is not exactly the camera that I wanted to film with, but problem is we ran out of batteries, and some batteries I lost when I was overseas. So that's how I might just put this camera in the where there's no wind. So basically we're going to go and plant some of the stuff that we bought. I'm going to replace some trees in the front yard, and then I've bought some really cheap potting mix which I'm going to mix with the soil just to sort of aerate the soil a little bit. I've also mixed a bit of sugar cane with the soil just to basically give it a bit more air. I bought a couple of things. I bought some kiwi fruit which I wanted to buy for a while. I bought a few plum trees which I'm going to put in the front yard. That's basically just going to be blocking the windows and stuff. And then I bought a few citrus trees as well. And then I also got some red currants. I know my son loves red currants, so I'm going to plant those in the backyard. So I'm going to plant this plum tree into that hole there. That's going to be in front of the house here, and hopefully that will block some of the windows off and we can have the blinds open a little bit more often during summer. So this is how the backyard looks like now. It's been a little while since we've done anything. So what we're going to do here is we're going to plant a couple of those red currants. We're going to plant the kiwi fruit, and then we've also got on the other side some citrus trees. We're going to try and plonk them somewhere as well. Now the reason why I'm planting trees so close together is because I'm going to be pruning them quite sort of vigorously so that they produce quite a lot very close together. So if you see, let's say that tree there which is a pear, then you've got a peachcot, and the peachcot, look just how many flowers and things there are on it. It's going to produce way too much, as well as the other pear, and we've got another apple in the corner there, and then some citrus trees at the back which don't seem to be doing much. I've got to see why they're not producing. So they go to the flower stage, but after that it just simply doesn't do anything. So I don't know. Definitely going to have to see what's sort of going on there. And then here I've just planted some celery, and I've got some onions there as well. The onions sort of started growing pretty recently when the weather sort of started getting a little bit more warmer, but there's another pumpkin over there. I think I might have to take seeds out of that one. And then I've got a at the back there's a mulberry tree which I'm going to work on a little bit today as well. By work on, I want to put a bit of soil around it, add some manure, and hopefully sort of get it going. It likes that place, even though there's like a massive tree here, but it seems to be okay if you give it enough water. There's this massive tree here, and that tree is actually a plum tree. I want to get rid of this branch there, and the reason why I want to get rid of that is so I can sort of plant quite a lot of stuff down here. So all of that there, I want that to be planted with trees and shrubs and so forth. The annoying thing that I'm finding is with the possums and so forth, they're going and eating all of my buds off the trees that I planted close by. So I've got to actually do something and put something on the fence line there so they can't go around and eat my fruit. First of all, I don't mind eating a little bit, but they're being quite destructive, which is annoying. You can't actually sort of produce anything. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do something about that. So if you guys don't know much about bare roots, so basically if you go to the market, and that's where we bought these from, and you can see that that's actually a currant. So you buy these as bare root trees, and they come at a lot cheaper price. And I think these ones were about $8, and the bigger trees were $20. It's a lot cheaper than paying, I don't know, $40, $50 at Bunnings, which essentially what they do at Bunnings, they're a bit tricky. So what they do is they basically get bare root trees, put them in a pot, add a bit of soil to it, and they sell them to you as trees in a pot, but they're not really trees in a pot, they're just bare root trees that have literally been placed in the pot. So the roots themselves haven't taken off, they haven't actually settled themselves in that pot. And a lot of times if you take it home, and some of you might even experience this, you try and like lift the tree up and the tree just goes up and the soil just sort of stays in the pot. So inadvertently we didn't actually sort of even know that we were going to do this, but see, we've got a pepino plant that's basically touched the ground, and as it touched the ground it's sort of let roots go into the ground and it's now in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually dig this part of the pepino plant, put it in a pot and let it grow a little bit more, and then we'll replant it somewhere on the other side of the yard. And now we've got 2 or 3 pepino plants practically for free. And as we did that with the pepino plant, you can actually sort of do that with pretty much any plant. I reckon a lot of the plants can in fact be placed into the soil, and they will grow roots and they will more or less produce more plants for you. So that's a lot of the times how you'll be propagating a lot of the plants. So these are all the pepino plants that are potted, but there's also a few here that I have that I'm going to put in a pot pretty soon, and those are going to be forming my new pepino plants. I'm seeing heaps of nettles in my garden, and nettles are really good for if you want to make a little soup out of nettles, or if you want to boil it up, make it tea. Apparently it's quite healthy, so we're going to leave a few nettles in the garden. All we've done so far really is just try and clean it up as much as possible. It hasn't been attended to for a few months, and it's time to do it. So this bed here has got quite a few berries and currants, and I think this is also, yep, red currants. This is going to be just berries and currants here. My pepino plant there. We're going to have some nettles, and we're going to plant another currant here, and that's going to be a white currant. And then we've got the fig tree there, which has been eaten by the possums, and then the cherry tree just here. So, and we're going to try and plant a few other crops, bits and pieces, just underneath the trees, and we've got to cut this branch off eventually. Hey Luca! Hi! So is Luca going to give me a hand?
Yeah.
Are you going to give me a hand? You know. Be careful. Be careful. Careful. Up. No, don't touch that. Luca. That's dirty. Yuck, yuck. And that's dirty as well. So this is day 2 of the weekend spent gardening. To be honest with you, today is a very terrible day. It is absolutely cold, freezing. I'm not really enjoying it in any shape or form, but there are things that I need to do. These are my grape vines that have been given to me. There's a number of them in there, and I want to preserve as many of them as I can. So I don't want them to dry out, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit of soil in the bucket. I'll try and put soil in the bucket, just enough to fill this bucket up a little bit, and that will preserve the roots of these canes. And then what I'll do is I'll plant those canes at some stage in the next couple of days in little pots, and then I'll be selling those. So these are going to be very beautiful grapes for anyone that purchases them. They're very, very sweet. They're very, very blue, and they taste absolutely amazing. So they're very, very they're quite nice as table grapes essentially. So yeah, beautiful. So that's how the grapes look like at the moment. So they've got a bit of soil inside. I've put a bit of water in there, and that should preserve them for the next couple of days until I decide to plant them in their own individual pots, and then plant them in the ground eventually, or whoever purchases them will be planting them in the ground. Yesterday I didn't get a chance to sort of walk you through what I've planted and where and how. It was just the time was basically running out. But these are the garden beds that I managed to fix up yesterday. This is going to be for my currants and berries, same as this garden here. Then we've got a Popino plant right here. We've got a Feijoa and an olive tree, and then this particular bed is going to be for berries and also for my kiwi fruit as well. And this is the kiwi fruits here. So this pomegranate tree is going to pretty much stay there. It's looking pretty good, to be honest with you, for winter. It hasn't actually lost any of its leaves yet, and usually pomegranates lose all of their leaves during winter and then just spring back to life during spring, but must be pretty happy here and didn't receive as much frost as we thought that it would.